Kardashian. Wow. Now, folks, maybe I'm getting a little old. I am. We're all getting older. And maybe my mind is starting to wander. But I could have sworn about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago, I could have sworn that I just heard the President of the United States say in his remarks about the economy that the private sector is doing fine. He said the private sector is doing fine. He said the problem is government jobs. That's the jobs we're losing. State, local government, those are the jobs that are in peril. Private sector is doing fine. Now, not even Obama can believe that. And does he really expect us to buy it? Maybe that was meant to be a dirty joke that we don't get. Maybe that was a double entendre, private sector doing fine. There's the transcript. Here it is. What about the Republicans saying that you're blaming the Europeans for the failures of your own policies? Obama. Well, truth of the matter is, as I said, we created 4.3 million jobs over the last 27 months, over 800,000 just this year alone. The private sector's doing fine. Where we're seeing weaknesses in our economy have to do with state and local government. Now, notice he's trying to blame the weakness in our economy on budget cuts being made by state and local government. Now, how old is Obama? Is he old enough for his staff to start making excuses for him yet? Like Clinton's staff is trying to excuse his inane... Well, you know, Bill's getting up there. He's 65. They actually said that. Well, I told you yesterday, some of you may not have believed it. They're actually saying Clinton went off the ball. You're about a mea culpa. Clinton went on Wolf Blitz yesterday and basically bent over, grabbed the ankle, and said, "Have your way with me." I'm sorry. I got the timeline wrong. You know, that's I just really goofed up. You know, I got the timeline wrong, and my problem is I do go all the way down, and sometimes it's a long time before I get back up. And by the time I get back up, a lot of stuff's happened I didn't know about. And I forgot the timeline. Yeah, this is discipline. Yeah, somebody reached out. Cory Booker has been disciplined now. Cory Booker has basically been told by the regime he doesn't matter. Publicly, the regime is saying about Cory Booker, he is dead to us. He's finished. They gave Cory Booker, in their view, they gave Cory Booker a national spotlight on the Meet the Press show. And he went out there and he blew it. He's dead to them. So, yeah, the discipline is starting to happen. And Clinton clearly was read the Riot Act. And I don't know what specifically it was that got to him, because there is no love lost between Clinton and Obama. But something did. And it's all about the Bush tax cuts. And Clinton say, I think we should extend those babies. And his excuse was that he thought everybody was talking about between now and the election, not after the election. That's his excuse. He got the timeline wrong. That's right. Limbaugh understands. Limbaugh's got it. Because, see, that's what I said. I do. I do go all the way down. And it's a long time to get back up. And that's why I got the timeline wrong. So they did get to him out there. So he's blaming the weakness, Obama is, the weakness in our economy on budget cuts made by state and local governments. I offered a thought the other day. I don't think there's anything forward about Obama or progressive. I think Obama's locked in the 30s. I think that's his nirvana. You know, a lot of people want to go back to Ozzie and Harriet, the 50s, the innocent, burgeoning 50s. Obama really wants to go back to the 30s. He wants to redo the New Deal. That is where he's stuck. He went on to say, if Republicans want to be helpful, if they really want to move forward and cut people or put people back to work, what they should be thinking about is how do we help state and local governments? In other words, he's calling for yet another stimulus. He wants to shovel even more billions of dollars into the pockets of his campaign foot soldiers in the public sector unions. That's what he's talking about. He had Wisconsin in mind, I have no doubt, when he said that the budget cuts, state, local budget cuts, that's where families and people are losing their gigs, their jobs, and so forth. And when you look at Wisconsin, I mean, the big number out of Wisconsin, you see how many people gave up being members of the union? Like 40,000. 40,000 when Scott Walker passed this initiative to allow them to opt out of the government deducting dues. 40,000 people. That went from 60,000 plus members to 27 or 28,000. It was a huge, huge blow. But Obama knows that these votes are not going to buy themselves. Now, how in touch do you have to be to say when the real unemployment rate is over 11%, the private sector is doing just fine? The private sector is doing just fine. Now, maybe he's not senile, but he certainly is obsessive compulsive. Of course, we could be looking at this from the wrong end, folks. I mean, you've got to be open to all possibilities. Maybe in Obama's mind, the private sector is doing just fine. I mean, there's a story, another story out there today that the number of people on food stamps has doubled under Obama. That, to him, might be the private sector doing just fine. There might be 88 million adults not working, but they are eating. Private sector's doing just fine. He may look at it that way. Maybe that's exactly what he wants. Maybe he wants the private sector doing just fine is a lot of people not working but eating with their cell phones on and their TVs on, depending on government for all of that. Maybe that's what he means by the private sector's doing just fine. He wants more people to be made dependent on government, so they'll vote Democrat. Private sector's doing just fine.